everybody knows. We're spinning our wheels like a big mud truck.
Bro, my nervous system can't take it.
Why are y'all doing that?
I scraped up $600 and I bought this car. This was the perfect drive-in movie car. It had dead body trunk in it. You could put like 8 people in the trunk and shut it easily.
Welcome to the Within Earshot podcast, bringing you closer to the world being better.
Video episode. So if you're joining us on YouTube, we're very, very excited about that.
Appreciate you being here.
We're kind of bootstrapping this thing right now, and we're on to bigger and better things for 2024. So look out for some great content coming your way and some cool guests. But we'll just get started with today's topic, and today's topic is about New Year's resolutions and its impact on creating lasting change, like throughout the whole year and years and beyond. And I'm excited to talk about this today. I think we're going to cover some cool stuff. And
I think we've all got experience with New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I think so. I can't wait to hear your guys' input on this, and I would love to see some comments, what you guys think about your New Year's resolutions. What are they? How are you following them up until the time this video is posted? What's your plans for 2024? Let us know down in the comments. We want to hear.
Yep. If you watch us in February, how's it going?
For real. Yeah. So let's get started.
All right, so starting at the beginning here. New Year's resolutions. How effective are they in creating that lasting change? Can they give us that change that's going to be a lifelong change or a year-long actual change? Because we want the resolutions to last a whole year. So how effective can they be? Kyle, you want to take it on there first there?
Hot damn.
I'm sorry to toss you into the bus.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a few stats first.
I like stats.
I know you do. It's in the game.
It's EA Sports. It's in the game.
That's good.
So, a lot of people don't do good with changing. Some people love change. Me, I'm like on the fence. I don't. It depends on what change is. I just go along with it most of the time. But out of they did a survey, people or whoever does this survey, they did a survey, and out of 40% of people who make these resolutions, only like 10% stay dedicated. So with that in mind, you have to have a strong commitment to want to make a change. I think some people's resolutions are like too big or too ambitious to achieve or obtain. That's what they set in their mind. For some others, I don't think they're ready for change. They just like being just like they are. So I believe by having smaller goals, no matter whether it's fitness or if you're doing something outdoors or if you're fishing or hunting or whatever it is, or make smaller goals, that's going to benefit you greatly in the long run to have a longer lasting effect on you. You get too big and ambitious, I mean, you're probably going to dip out. When I go to gym every day but Wednesday, and after the first part of the year, you're going in there and it's damn jam-packed. You got to wait for equipment or wait for a bench or treadmills, not so much because there's like 200 of them in there. But like the stuff that we do and lifting and, excuse me, the stuff that we do in the back part of the gym, you got to wait. Because everybody's in there, boy, I'm fixing to get like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm about to get Swole Patrol right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to put up with them for like 2-3 months, and all of a sudden it starts thinning out. It's like a damn ghost town.
You should keep up with it, man. You should actually like write it down, like how many people are really there, like every single week you go, and be like, when does it actually hit down back to like where it normally is?
Because I wanted to test this statistic and see, in that aspect, I can use like 60% of the gym, and then see how many fades out by like end of February. Usually it don't take long. And a good friend of mine, he started working out at this gym, and he told me about it. He said, it'll be kind of cramped. You come at the right times, it ain't that bad. For me, I have to go right after work, so it's like between 5 and 6. I have to get in there and do what I got to do.
Which is the worst possible time to get
Yeah.
there.
'Cause I can't do it at 7 or after. Because my workouts, I'm usually there like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want a tan. We got a tanning thing in there. You can go tan and
Just be record. Where do you go to the gym?
over to the PF.
PF. Okay.
PF Chains? That's weird. I didn't
PF
know they had a
Chains, hey.
fitness
PF
place.
change, yeah.
Got a little something in the back room. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. You can, what was that thing off that movie? He gets a little change and does a little change or something like that. No, over at the Planet Fitness.
Right.
So they got all kinds of stuff in there you can do. I don't like starting and then have to stop and wait. I want to get in there and do all my stuff. I don't want to have to wait on somebody to sit there and take 350 pictures of their arms in the mirror.
Man,
That drives me absolutely damn nuts.
got
What
that,
do?
you know, got them influencers in there, man. Or I mean, and people are just happy about their appearance. You know, that's. I mean,
Or they can be happy when I'm gone.
yeah. I mean,
Or before
get
I
that.
get there. And then, like, but they'll come in after, we'll start a set. And then that's all they do, right in the damn way. I'm like, hey, really? So it gets aggravating. But most of them I've seen and witnessed and noticed after like a couple months, like it's like, boom, they just disappeared. They just didn't want to do it no more. They just didn't stay focused and dedicated enough to do it. So, I mean, you can't be too ambitious on what you're going to do, or it ain't going to happen.
I agree. I mean, there's some aspects there I do agree with, but I mean the gym during this time of year it's like you're waiting in line somewhere, and in my opinion, I don't go to the gym because of that very reason. I don't want to sit and wait. Like people around me may be way ahead of me, and my recovery time between sets may be longer than somebody's willing to wait. So then I got to worry about some person like kind of staring at me, waiting, looking at their clock, waiting for me to get done. And I don't really like that. That takes away from me being able to focus on the reason why I'm there in the first place. So I tried the gym many years ago. I said, okay, I have to start creating a gym in my house somehow, some way. I mean, we worked in the garage for a while there at the first house I was in. But to getting back to the question, were you done? I don't want to interrupt
Go
you.
for it.
Okay.
Lasting change.
Lasting change. So in terms of New Year's resolutions, right, and lasting change, I think there's a lot to unpack there. But in all honesty, how many times have you made a resolution, like we've talked, Kyle just mentioned on, and by March it's far from your daily radar. You've made some excuse as to why it's no longer relevant in your life. And that happens a lot. I think most people, and I'm not excluding myself here, but they allow life's distractions as a reason to not reach this new goal you were all in your feels about in November, December, right? You all hyped up, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this happen. Hell, most of it's just the last week of December, really. I'm going to change, I'm going to do this, because most of us really get to a point where we're so freaking, we still feel so fat and sassy from eating all the junk that we're like, I have to do something.
Yes.
Like we're in desperate
Thing
mode.
has to happen.
Right. So to answer the question, how effective are those resolutions in creating lasting change? I don't think they're worth a crap. I think it can definitely act as like a great starting point with lots of motivation and push to start. Everybody's game hold, we're ready to go, and we're really motivated to start. But all that hype and fanfare fades away over time. Mm-hmm. So if there's an ingredient there, if this was a cake, if this whole topic was a cake, there's an ingredient in this cake that we're not talking about right now that will allow us to take this goal and stretch it out over the year and reach the goal. So I'm not going to bring it up because we'll talk about it later, but there's something we're missing. And the crazy thing is that people do this every year with all kinds of stuff. You know?
Yeah, it ain't got to be gym. I mean, it could be something at work or something outdoorsy, or I'm going to plant me a botanical garden at my house.
Right.
And then they end up with like 3 bushes.
So let's get into question 2 here. Like, what are common reasons why people struggle to stick to their resolutions?
Shannon, I'm gonna see what you got before I chime in.
Oh, okay, man. All right.
I don't want you to feel left out.
Oh, well, I'm not feeling left out. I'm just listening to your conversation happening over there. All right, so people do struggle with their resolutions. And I think like a major problem with the struggle with the resolutions is the fact that people make this huge, unrealistic goal that they won't be able to attain. They're like, man, I'm going to lose 127 pounds. Like, man, that's a lot. I mean, it's hard to just jump in like I'm going to do that. They need to have like more attainable goals that they want to reach. Maybe I do want to go to the gym 3 days a week. Not I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to run 5 miles on the treadmill. I'm going to be lifting 300 pounds on a bench press. They need to have goals for them. If you don't go to the gym all the time, it's going to be really hard when you just jump in and you go hardcore. I think they go hardcore and then they start to hurt and they're like, this is terrible. I don't want to do that because they didn't build it, but there wasn't any steps to go up to the point that they needed to be. And that's with anything. If it was like people wanting to save money, people are like, all right, I need to save money. I am not spending money on anything at all. And then they don't buy nice things. They're like, I'm going to eat my ramen noodles every single night. I'm not going to go to any movies. I'm not going to go out and see anybody or do anything. And then they get sad and depressed, upset, and then they're like, well, I'm splurging. I'm going to go out and going to go to the casino and spend $500. I'm going to go to a nice restaurant. And then their entire resolution is shot because they had this goal of I'm cutting everything out. I think to make a goal more attainable, like a resolution that would actually work, set a resolution like for the month of January, I'm going to do this. And anybody can do it for a month. There, like my parents, they are going to not eat out for the entire month of January. They're going to eat at home.
Okay.
Like, that's excellent. That's a perfect thing. I mean, you get used to eating food at home, and then you're more likely to eat food at home throughout the rest of the year. It's not saying I'm going the entire year and I'm not eating it. I'm not going to go out to eat to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to happen. There's going to be times where you're just going to have to run through and get McDonald's one day, and it's just going to happen. So make those unrealistic goals and make a plan. Have a roadmap for what you're going to do. You don't just jump into the deep end to go swimming. You start to doggy paddle and things like that. So breaking things down into manageable goals. If you're going to set that year-long goal that I want to get in better shape or I want to eat better, you stagger. You get there slowly. Like if I'm doing a diet for this month, I'm not going to expect to do perfect every single day. There's going to be some times I'm like, oh, no, that iced coffee looks really good, even though I'm not supposed to have it. But every once in a while, it's okay to have a little splurge, and you can't let that one thing derail you. So you need to have steps along the way, like, all right, if I make a mistake, how can I jump back on? And if you're trying to lose weight, go to the gym 2 days a week. Then maybe after a few weeks, go 3 days a week. And then maybe after a few more weeks, go 4 days a week. And then instead of adding more days, stay a little bit longer. Instead of just getting on the treadmill, get on the treadmill and then start doing some weights. And then after you start doing some weights, go and do something else. So have those tasks, have those steps to get to. That plan will keep you motivated, because I think in the end, that's one of the biggest things is not having motivation. You lose that motivation because if it's something that's hard, most people, when they do something hard, they don't want to keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, those people who are going to be at Kyle's gym, the first time they pull a muscle, they're like, well, obviously I can't exercise. I have to stop exercising forever now, just because they hurt themselves a little bit. And that probably is because they just jumped on a treadmill and started running as fast as they could. They didn't walk and then build up to that.
It's true.
So that's just a few things there of why people might struggle. Kyle, you got some more?
No, you kind of like stole my thunder.
You told me to go first, man.
That seems to happen a lot around here. What's going on, man? What you got? I know you got something in there interesting.
I mean, good minds think alike. I guess.
That's right.
I agree.
That's right, man.
It's like that. What's that? Telepathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to send you. I got 2 more things here. I'm going to send them to you in my mind, man.
I got them
Got it.
right here in the OS Bank.
AOS. Old cranium, you know what I mean? I'm stopped up. What the hell?
I'll get you a shot there.
I don't have a shot. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it was some good common issues, Shannon. You're right, setting unrealistic goals. You're being too big. In your mind and on paper, that shit was badass. Hell yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then 2-3 months in, you're like, oh, man, I'm about broke down.
Yeah. And that's why we build it up in our brain as this amazing, awesome thing that we're just going to jump into. But, I mean, at our age, we should know by now that you can't just jump into something.
Definitely not. And I want to say something so I don't forget it because I'm getting a little old, got that, that memory problem. But here's something to think about. I think it's about a perspective kind of thing because think about this. If you got involved with something, right, and before you got all hyped up about it, you had the actual plan, what it was going to take from you, right, and how long it was actually going to take you to achieve it, which is probably 3 times longer than what you think it's going to take you, would you have ever started in the first place? You kind of have to be kind of stupid about it because you got to get in there. You know what I mean? Like you get in there and get involved, and you're like, man, this is kind of tough. But I made it this far. Hell, just keep going. Let's see what happens, blah, blah, blah. Or you could say, well, this is way harder than I thought it was, like you just said, that I'm going to go back to eating potato chips and, watching American Idol.
Motivation. I mean, that's another big thing. Common issues. People don't stay motivated very long. Or they'll say, man, I ain't got the time. Lack of time is another big one. I've heard a lot of people and talked to a lot of people like that. Like, man, I just ain't got enough time to do that. I said, really? I said, yeah. I said, you the busiest worker bee I ever met in my life. You ain't got time?
You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
Like people who say that, like in my mind, I'm like, I don't have any time. And then I sit and watch a show for 3 hours. I'm like, obviously I had time. I watched 3 shows in a row. I could have gotten up.
That's because they're afraid of change. That's where that comes into play. They don't like change. So they're like,
boy,
well, I really ain't got time. Well, shit, I got to watch AGT. It about to come on. So it's like a 2-hour show. But in their mind, this is all they did all last year. So then here's a new year starting. New ideas coming to mind and new resolutions. And I'm going to add this resolution to what I did last year and see if I can obtain this goal. But then they get stuck in that rut. And they're like, man, I don't like change, and I'm not motivated enough. I'll try it. Let me see what I can do. No. I thought it was good, but no. I mean, you can't make excuses. I mean, if you're going to do it, just set small steps to do it. Don't make something way out there it's hard to reach. I mean, I know it's easy. Excuse me. It's easy for me to talk about it, and then tell other people or encourage others to do that. But I mean, I'm telling you from example. I've set long, hard to reach goals, and I tried like hell, like half the year. I couldn't. It just seemed like it kept getting farther and farther. So I was like, no more. I went on to something else, and I said, next year if I make a goal like this, it's going to be in my grasp where I can reach it. And then once I reached that, then I made another goal. And then eventually I got to that long-ass goal, that hard goal. Eventually I got to it. I just made baby steps to get there to it.
Well, you can't give up. That's the whole problem. Or the whole thing we're talking about here is people give up. And they walk away. Okay, whatever you're going to do, unless you have all of the ducks in a row and the stars are aligned for you, whatever you're going to do in life, you're going to start a business, you're going to try to get fit, which I am not, so I'm not trying to say I'm not, I can't relate to that. But building businesses and creating teams or trying to follow a diet, it's going to be 10 times harder than what you think it's going to be, because most of the crap that you're thinking is just like it's in theory. It's like the idea of achieving it. I can get there, and that's good to have, but you need to kind of put some rubber to the road and see what you're made of. Okay, and then kind of reevaluate. Okay, how did I do there? I sucked. I needed to move, be better here, be better here. Like when we used to build teams back at the job I was in, you could plan out the month, but you had to what are we actually working with? What are we capable of?
Mm-hmm.
And then you could take what you actually have and then take those things and take those ingredients and say, okay, we can improve here, improve here, improve here. Then you can make actual change. But you got to just get started, and you're going to fail. You're going to fail at some point. The program 75 Hard, which we'll talk about on an episode coming up, that is extremely difficult because it requires what we were talking about earlier, what I alluded to in the first question, and I'll get to in the next question. But it requires something that is the key ingredient to all this crap. So anyways, yeah, sorry.
I mean, on to our next question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm excited for this key ingredient that Eric keeps talking about. He's like building the anticipation.
Yeah. So, okay. So, does anybody have any specific strategies or useful tools that can help people achieve their goals and avoid setbacks in the new year?
I do.
I know you do. Give it to me.
I got 6 of them. All right.
Damn.
Whoa, all right.
All right.
Let
So
me get my Palm Pilot.
get your Palm Pilot out. Take notes. So write down your goals. Put them on paper. You need to put them. There's something about writing down the thoughts that are in your mind and putting them on paper. Mm-hmm. They seem to take shape and allow you to take an additional step. All right. So get them down on paper. Even if it sounds stupid. Okay. Even if it sounds ridiculously stupid. Well, you have to be realistic. So I can put down that I'm going to play in the NBA and I'm going to beat Steph Curry's shot record. That's not going to happen, okay? I'd have to probably change my entire life around. Well, it's not going to happen. They're not going to look at me and say, yes, we want you. You're 40. Probably take me 3 years to even be remotely close to being acceptable in the NBA. And they'd be like, you're 45. It's not going to happen. Just thank you for applying, but no. You have to be realistic to that degree, right? You can't just want something that's just not achievable. And maybe you don't know what is achievable. Write down some stuff on paper. It may sound stupid. You look at it, you're like, yeah, that's dumb. I can't do that. I can't achieve that. How much money would it take to get this dude in NBA shape? A lot. Anybody got that money? You got that money? I don't have that money.
No.
So, write it down on paper.
It makes it real when you write it down.
It does.
You just think about it is one thing, but when you write it down, you're like, that's a goal. That is what I'm shooting for right there. It's there.
You're right.
You can read it. Other people can read it. It becomes something different when you write it down.
It does. It adds. It gives it power. I think that's something that's spoken or written word is something very powerful. The next one is you need to kind of take the steps. You need to set out some steps like, okay, I need to do this, this, and this, and this to get to this point. Or you can start at the end and kind of reverse engineer your way there. So if I want to lose the greatest weight loss, let's say by June, I want to lose 50 pounds. So I need to lose 50 in 6 months. I need to divide that by 6. How much is that each per month? How many is that per week? How many pounds is that per week? What does my calorie intake need to be based off my weight? Where do I need to be in a deficit to try to manipulate my calories and my activity level to reach that goal? That's a theory, but reverse engineering, it gets you a plan. And then 3, start doing the thing. Like I said earlier, start doing it and then review. Do a week's worth of workouts and a week of tracking your food and being at that calorie intake, and then weigh. Did that work? If it didn't work, then you have to go back and reevaluate. See why that didn't work. You may need to hire a coach. Maybe to hire somebody that knows what they're doing. but you kind of like review each month, week and day on your progress, and then just keep track of it. Use a calendar, dry erase board. There's tons of apps out there that you can keep track of everything in now. Use something to keep track of your progress. Huge. So we got write it down, reverse engineer the steps, and this take some time on it. Don't just do it in the drive-thru while you're waiting for your McDonald's. Spend some time on it. Give yourself a week of working on this to really reverse engineer your way there. Just for example. And then 3, we got to review each time, give you some kind of progress. It's the old adage of plan, do, review. You plan, you do it, then you review it, then you make adjustments, and you kind of repeat that process. So the 4th thing is and this is the big one. Okay, this is all of it's been big, and all of it is big in my opinion.
Is this
but
the ingredient, man?
Yeah, sort of. No, it's not the ingredient.
And
Hold on.
Then
Hold on.
that's it.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. All right.
So 4, share your plan with people that you can trust and are also on the same path. Okay? Here is something I want you to think about. If you don't have any of those people in your life that are striving to do things to better themselves, to tackle new things, and they're just comfortable with getting up, eating the same breakfast or getting breakfast, going to work, doing their time, going home, watching the kids, watching the TV programs, going to bed, and rinse and repeat, then don't expect those people to support you doing stuff you've never done before. It's just not going to happen. Yep. They're going to tell you no. They're going to discourage you. And I remember hearing this years ago, and I didn't believe it, but it's a combination of they don't think you can achieve it, and they don't want to see you succeed because it reminds them of things that they just accept not to do in their life and accept the mediocre. That's it. And when it really sucks is if it's close people in your family or close friends, and you just got to have that, I don't give a crap. I'm going this direction. I'm not going to, you can't sell out your family. You can't disown your friends. You can't do that, but you got to say, look, I'm going this direction. You can support me or not, I don't really care. But I'm going to start spending my time with people that are in that realm to help me learn so I can achieve my goal, right? So, like I said, if you don't have those people in your life that are doing the things that you want to do and can tell you how to get there, maybe it's time to audit your circle. And that's a real difficult part because you don't need to tell people I don't want to be around you no more, but you kind of need to limit your time with certain people. So if you don't want to do that, accept the fact that you're never going to reach this goal and it's just a dream and basically shit to talk about while you're eating a Cracker Barrel, okay? You've got to be around people that will push you out of your comfort zone, that are in front of you and they say, hey, this is how you get here. Come over here. And you know what? You may have to pay for it. It may cost you something. You can't go around wanting shit for free all the time because it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. You want free information only goes so far. You're going to have to give something up for it. I put down, talk in detail about this. You don't need people in your life that aren't trying to do big things as your accountability partner. So where I'm getting with this is that you need family. You need, if you're married, husband, wife, you need those people. And you don't need to alienate them, your friends and family, whatever. But you need, if you want an accountability partner, you want people in an accountability team to help you stay on the straight and narrow to achieve this goal, and these people can't see the vision, then it's not them. Don't go to them. Don't even start telling them about this shit. You might have to tell your spouse to a degree, but get yourself involved with people that can give you the answers. You know what I mean? So number 5 was this. It was be flexible. It's all going to come down to adherence to see results. You got to kind of stick to it. And this is the ingredient that we're missing. The ingredient is the discipline. Because all of that fanfare, all of that emotional attachment that we have before January and at the beginning of January, it's all hype and it makes you feel good. All that's going to fade. So when you're sore as hell, like you mentioned earlier, you got to get up and get in there and do something. Show up. Even if you're like, dude, I'm dead. Walk on the treadmill. Do something. You've allocated some time to be in the gym. Go be in the gym. Don't just say, man, I'm not going to do it. I don't feel like it today. Because all of the people that are in your life that are lazy as hell, that are cool with being comfortable, they're going to support that. You're going to have ample people that say, it's okay. You've worked real hard, babe. You've done a good job. Take the day off. Have yourself a donut. Don't even tell them. How you feeling? I feel great. Positive affirmations. I feel great. And you're thinking, I feel like I'm going to die. You know what I'm saying? I've done it 1,000 times where I'm like, just another, I'll take it today off. No big deal.
In fact, we were doing the 22-minute hardcore, man. There were so many days where I woke up and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I drug myself out, went downstairs, turned on that video, and I did it. Felt horrible for a little while, but man.
But when you got done, you're like, holy shit, I made it.
Yep. 10 minutes in, you're like, I can't believe I was not going to do this.
Right.
Why in the world was I not going to do this right here?
But it depends on who you share that with, and like if you and something I want to evaluate on myself this year is like, what is that voice? What is that inner voice that says, "Don't do this, man. This is too much." I want to squash that voice.
Yeah.
Like,
that doubting yourself. Like, why?
So, 75 hard, we're going to talk about that later, like I said, but 75 hard is an example of a very extreme, it's a discipline program. Somebody thinks it's a fitness program. No, it's a program to develop your discipline because there's certain things you have to do and you got to do them no matter what. I don't give a crap. One of the workouts, you're supposed to do two workouts a day for 45 minutes a piece. For 75 days, every day.
Every day?
Every day.
Dude.
So one of them has to be outside.
Every day?
Every day.
Get your Eskimo clothes on when it's cold.
That's right. Woo. Right. Be disciplined. Okay. And I haven't done it, but I've watched a lot of information on it, and it's really just about people. You learn how to be disciplined, and that's what it's going to take to achieve things is being disciplined. Like, is this important to you or not? You got to figure it out, Even if your day got away from you and it's 9 o'clock at night, I got one more workout to do. And it's outside. And it's snowing. Got to go out and do it.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Right. Now,
I'd like to say I'll do that with you, man.
I'm eventually going to try 75 hard this year, but I don't know when. I don't know.
Maybe.
I just had to take my dumbbells with me in the boat. Just get out there and get it while I'm out there fishing.
I mean, you'd have to evaluate what means if you've set up to follow the program, you'd have to evaluate to yourself what means more to you, fishing or achieving that goal.
Or you can do both at the same time.
I mean, you can go. I mean, you got all day to do them. You don't have to do them at certain times, but you may have to. It depends on you. You have to make those decisions internally, on you, because all that decision's on you. Whether you fail or succeed, it's all on you. So whatever. So I said be flexible, right? It all comes down to adherence. There's some trainers I've seen that say that 75 hard is way too difficult to adhere to, and it just doesn't promote lasting change. A lot of people will say you need to do something that you will stick with, like the carnivore, keto, for a specific example, because they've been real big for a while, and carnivore's big now. But it really boils down to it helps you maintain a calorie deficit. That's it. And there are some other health benefits, right?
Yeah.
But it helps you maintain a calorie deficit. So therefore, most people lose weight over it. But if you can't stick with it, I didn't like it. I hated it. Like I could not move weight very good during that process. And then when I did work hard in the morning, the rest of the day, I was super lethargic. Wasn't a big fan of that. But
That's one reason I don't work out in the mornings. 'Cause I know I'll go hard, and then I'm gonna be dragging ass most of the day.
well, I'm fine if I have carbs. Just about like a couple bananas worth, maybe about 50 to 75 grams of carbs. I'm okay. I'm fine. But no carbs? Damn. It sucked. But maybe there's some things I could have improved on. There is. But it's about
you make some adjustments there.
make some adjustments, right? But it's about being flexible, you know. Maybe you start with an 80-20 rule. You're 80% on and 20% you allow yourself to kind of be a dumbass. Okay? Maybe you do 6 months of that. You're like, you know what? I can tighten this up to 90-10 easily. You know? And then, but 86 months of working out hard and 80% of your time is focused on your nutrition and your diet. I've been told, and I've experienced it only once, it'll work. It changes. So how did I do that? I followed these things that I'm talking about. Being around the right people is super important. But the last thing is to just execute. Execute. If you've kind of got this plan up into this point, and you've got it before January 1 starts, it's a great time to start, in my opinion, because there's so much energy around change in January. So you've got this big push to start, you know, and if you continue to execute, and you follow these steps, in my opinion, I think you're going to reach your goal. I'm doing this myself. I don't know what diet plan I'm going to follow at this point, and I had this back problem, like you and me had back problems, which is odd, on the same day.
The exact same day.
And I've got this leg issue. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going to as much as I possibly can, and it'll work itself out. Yeah, I'm done.
Man, I should have gone first. Okay, so obviously I do not have as much as Eric did on that right there. But so we're looking at ways people can actually keep going for this. And like Eric said, you're gonna fail at things. Mm-hmm. A key to doing this is to learn from your setbacks and not just give up when you have a setback. You may, we'll stick with the exercise thing. If you're exercising and you find out, man, doing lunges and squats is really bad. It tears me up. It hurts, and no matter what kind of weight, it just is awful. Mm-hmm. You don't say, well, I'm going to stop exercising. I'm not going to do this anymore. You adjust your plan. You're like, well, maybe I won't do as many of those, or I might not do them at all. I do some other things to try and adjust and still continue down my path. So a resolution isn't necessarily set in stone. If you make a resolution, you can adjust it along the way.
Right.
And then eventually it wouldn't be a resolution anymore. It would be a change of your life.
Yeah.
Hopefully. In the end, that's what you want to happen. You don't want to just say, I'm going to do this for a year. You want it to impact your entire life from that point on. So learning from those setbacks, that's not really a tool or strategy. That's just a general rule of how to do anything really in life.
Right.
Thinking about strategies though, I go to my teacher brain there. I'm like, reward system. Reward yourself with things. We all like to have rewards. I mean, it can be a little bitty thing that just makes us motivated and keeps us wanting to go. So let's say your resolution is, I'm going to declutter my house. You don't January 1 start and then work for 24 hours trying to declutter your house. First of all, it's an unrealistic goal. You're going to get mad and frustrated. Yes. After about an hour, you're going to get frustrated because most of the time we've built up a lot of stuff in our homes, and for one closet it might take 2 days to be able to clean out one closet. So reward yourself with every time you clean one room out completely. Give yourself something. It could be, hey, I'm going to go buy something nice for that room now. but just one thing. I've decluttered, I've gotten rid of all the stuff, but now I can put one nice thing in that room. And then you're like, wow, it's got space. I've gotten all the trash everywhere, all the stuff I've been stockpiling everywhere. That's all gone. And then it could be a picture to hang up on the wall, or I don't know, any little thing there. And then you do that for every single room. You get rid of tons of stuff, throw out trash bags, go and donate stuff. And then every room has one nice thing that you can look back on and be like, I cleaned this room. And that's my little trophy for cleaning this room right here. I know it sounds like something that kids, obviously kids definitely love rewards, but so do we.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing that would keep me going. That would work for a smaller task. I mean, you would eventually come to an end and your house would be decluttered and then your resolution would be complete. So that might not work necessarily for exercising or changing your diet or try to change your finances, something like that. But for some resolutions, that would really help out a lot.
I think it worked out for fitness. I mean, it's a cheat meal.
Yeah. Have one a week, one every other week, where you just have a day to yourself and you can do things.
Yeah.
So when you declutter and you make it to the game room, your game room that you got, we will reward you with a present. Me and Paco will take a self-portrait of us, and we'll give it to you, hang on the wall.
Okay.
And I'll remind you of what good you done every time you go down in the game room and look at that picture.
But see, now you'd have to be dressed up in cosplay, man. I want to see like Batman and Robin or something like that. And I want like 1950s Adam West, Batman and Robin.
Oh, man. That's underwear.
I got some long johns. I take deer hunt. I guess I can paint some yellow.
I would love to see you in a Batman costume.
See, now motivated right there.
Now, if I could achieve that, I just motivate you to declutter one of your game room.
I can do it. I do it, man.
I just want you to know that there's no way in hell I'm dressing up as Robin.
Man, like the little green boots that he would put on his stuff.
That's terrible.
You just have to be a Ninja Turtle. So it'd be Batman and Ninja Turtle together.
Ninja Turtle. All right.
That fits my mold a bit better.
You're just going to get Batman and Ninja Turtle together.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, that's fine.
That's what
That's
I'm talking
fine. Batman, Ninja Turtle.
Nobody never know. Nobody
shit.
never know who that is. but
Oh,
you.
man.
I'll be Raphael, too. I'll be the angry one.
Batman and Ninja Turtle on that
right.
picture, and then nobody will know it when they come over but you. But look who I met.
Somebody's going to say, who the hell is that?
Batman and Raphael. I met him at Comic-Con, see?
There we go. There. All right. Rewards, motivation.
There you
Yes.
go.
Boom. Keeping it going there.
See how easy that resolution was?
Easy. Done deal.
Done and done. And really, that's about all I got because Eric covered a couple of other things that I want to talk about, and I'm not even going to try and keep up with what he said because his was much better than what I would have said.
No.
Oh, man.
We do sometimes when we get in depth involved in some of these questions, it's like I'm competing against Webster's dictionary.
Well,
I think it's more like an encyclopedia as opposed to a dictionary, man.
Yeah.
so there is a thing over time since we've been doing the podcast and researching topics that I've realized that I have an unbelievable amount of thirst for information. Like I can consume. This kid at work. He's the only person I've ever seen that's close. Me and him, we can talk about 100 topics before noon. And this other guy over named Rick, he's like, how do y'all have time to do all that? I'm like, I don't know.
Some people's just bred like that.
I don't know. But it's a problem. Maybe it's a
impressive,
problem.
man. Sometimes I just sit and I just listen. I'm like, oh, I should chime in something at some point in time during this podcast. So it's not just Eric talking, but I'm just like, I'm interested in what Eric is talking about.
Then I'll think, yeah. Well, let me tell you, here's what happened like this. Like, well, I went my thunder.
Yep. And then I don't want to say anything. I don't want to interrupt and get him off track or anything. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm just gonna listen to it.
It'd like take him 10 minutes to get that train back on the track after that.
Yeah. If I get derailed, I'm a squirrel.
That's
Yeah.
why we didn't bring up the Batman and Ninja Turtle thing to the end, right? So
Good
we're
call.
okay.
That's the whole damn thing off right there. It'd been over. And we ain't starting all over again.
All right.
I mean, them's good, useful tools. It help you achieve your goals. I got a few things I'll add real quick. Some good tools for this year to avoid some setbacks is I would recommend to be real and honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just lie to yourself and sugarcoat something in your mind, and then you go do it and be like, man, this is so much harder than I thought. Just be real with yourself up front. Can you do this goal or not? If not, you need to get a goal that you can do. Because I mean, if you do a goal that you're not for sure you can reach, you're gonna be miserable. You're gonna hate every minute of it trying to get to it. Don't try to be like everyone else in a goal, because some people have similar goals that they try to achieve throughout the year. So if 2 or 3 of your buddies has got some of the same goals, you try to like make yours a little bit different, and that's going to help you feel more motivated to go do it. Otherwise, you're going to be piggybacking off your buddies. Like, well, yeah, my other buddy, he's doing that same thing, so I'll just kind of see what he's got. I'll see what he's got going on, and then I'll kind of chime in with him. I mean, you just kind of like half-assing your goal instead of doing it all yourself. And like you were saying, Shannon, unrealistic goals, don't make none for yourself. I mean, it's just everything to me, to make everything in your resolutions work and not being that 10% that don't make it every year, is just make short steps. If you're like working 50 or 60 hours a week or whatever, and you are kind of crunched for time because you're so wore out by the end of the day, just make little short steps to get to wherever you're doing.
Yeah, I think it's going to get hard. I think people underestimate how hard it can be to do, especially if you're working on a job and you're trying to do something additional, in your life. You've got a family, children and so forth. It takes time out of your day that you have to account for, and that may mean losing some sleep. That may mean doing, maybe you get your family on board with it. Say, hey, here's a goal I want to reach. Here's why we need to reach it. And here's my daily plan of how many hours I'm going to put on it, if it's 30 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and start, It'll be a great way to show your young kids what it takes to achieve something. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good stuff. Only thing I think of about the thing is it's okay. I think it's okay to have big goals. You need to have big goals. You need to have realistic ones, but you need to have big ones. Test yourself. Put yourself in a position. You may fail, but show back up again. Keep running. Keep going. Keep trying at it. Reevaluate. Plan, do, and review. Plan, do, and review.
It's a fine line you got to walk. You don't want to make it too hard on yourself, but you also don't want to make it too easy on yourself. If it's too easy, you're not growing or changing. You'll be like, well, I'm just going to not go to McDonald's I'll go one less day a month. It's not really, it's not going to change anything in your life.
Like I heard this trainer on a podcast the other day, and he was talking at fitness, but he also does business coaching. But he trains a lot of celebrity trainers, I think Zac Efron and The Rock and a few others. And he says, look, what do you want to look like? And they'll say, and the reason why they use him is in the movies is because he can get people changed quickly. He was like, how much pain are you willing to go through to get to that point? He was like, I can get you there fast, but it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. And he's like, he said, what people don't know how much they can handle. So, well, give it to me. Let's just try it in this amount of time. Let's see what happens,
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Test yourself.
test yourself, because you may not know your limit. You may not know what's too hard. But
A lot of people don't know
No.
what's too hard. They
Yeah.
only go to the easy part, and once it starts to feel a tiny bit hard, they pull back
Yeah.
again. They don't keep going.
I mean, going out of your comfort zone, that's people throw that around a lot easier, but what does that look like in your life? It looks like frustration. It looks like headaches. It looks like I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to get to the next step. Or this person's not listening to me. I think I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Or, there's so many things there. I need to reach out. My help's not helping me. I had a mentor, and now my mentor's kind of ghosted me. What the hell's going on? It looks like frustration, but you just gotta discipline. Keep showing up. Keep knocking on more doors. Keep lifting the weight. Keep going. I think we move on to our third or fourth and final question. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's you. You read it.
Oh, you want me to?
It says right here.
Okay. Okay, so what are your experiences with resolutions, and do you make them each year? That would just kind of sum up everything that we've talked about.
It's a good summary ending our question.
Yeah, for sure.
I can roll with that. I used to try to make resolutions, and I never, ever, 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 ever have kept one. I'm just like, I'm getting healthy. Let's go.
Right.
It's terrible. I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to get in shape. And I don't have any kind of a plan. I'm just like randomly go to the gym, randomly exercise here and there or something, and nothing works.
Yeah.
So I would give up. Maybe a month or two is the longest I've ever had a resolution that actually worked. And then it fades away for all the reasons that we have talked about.
Yeah.
Losing track of time. It doesn't seem like it's working immediately, so I get frustrated and I stop. So to me, a resolution, it's never going to work for me. It's just not in my mindset. Now, I can set my mind on something and I can achieve that goal. I've found in the past couple of years, hey, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can get into shape. I can eat well for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But just saying, hey, it's January. You need to do it now because it's January.
Right.
It's not. It's
stupid.
just because it's that time doesn't mean you need to do it. You need to do it when you feel like it's your time. It's when you are comfortable to do that.
Yeah. I agree.
So resolutions, I say no. It's I guess it's fun when you're young and like in your 20s and be like, yeah, I'm gonna make me a resolution. But now, this point in time in my life, I have no real urge to do a resolution. Do I want to do things to change my life to get better? Yes. But just on January 1st making that change, probably not going to be something I'm going to shoot for in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely use the first of the year to kind of like kick off something new, because it's like there's a lot of hype behind the first of the year, It's all around you, which helps to kind of get you off the ground and get going. But my experience is in the past I've failed completely terribly. I mean, and also that starting something immediately and effectively on January 1 can be a challenge without proper planning beforehand, which I used to not have proper planning with certain things. From Halloween through New Year's Eve, it's one big ass party. There's so much temptation and so much stuff in front of your face that it's hard to say no. And if you don't have like the discipline to hang with family and friends through that time and not partake in the festivities, like food-wise, as everyone else, then starting January 1, I think you can expect some setbacks pretty quickly because your mindset's just not there. Your mindset's there, but that you're going to fail because look what you've been accustomed to for the past 3 months.
Yeah, you have set a routine of I'm going to eat lots of snacks. I'm not going to just eat regular meals. I'm going to eat gigantic meals.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to eat, Christmas candy at 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat half a pound of that Christmas candy at 10:30 at night.
And I know we keep
Whoa.
yeah, hey.
Yeah, man. It happened at least twice.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I think I put on 20 pounds. I'm not even joking. Since Halloween,
16 pounds. I've gained 16 pounds since October 31st.
but like we keep referring to exercise because it's kind of like the easiest way to equate discipline and whatnot. But I think it applies to business. It applies to your family relationships, and just about anything else you want to do. But in terms of fitness, like the best shape I've ever been in is when I was doing that program, and I was daily seeing in contact with like-minded people, all working to achieve their best possible version of themselves. Because I can remember sitting on my couch at 4 o'clock in the morning with my cup of coffee, so freaking sore. There's nobody up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to skip today. Today I need to skip today, and I will flip on my Facebook and see somebody from a private group that we were in posting their stuff at 3:30. And I'm like,
Oh no, I get this.
all right, they're doing it. I was like, just get in there and do it. Just get in there and start. Just go as far as you can and then quit.
Oh yeah.
10 minutes in, I'm like, I'm ready to go.
Oh dude, the amount of times I didn't want to do anything, and then you would send a picture like done for the day. I'm like, dang it! All right, I'm going right now. It's happening right here, right now.
To me, like that's our next step with the podcast. Is that information is not as actually, you and me, it was free because we know each other. But the initial that wasn't free. I had to buy that. So yet again, getting back, I said earlier, you got to kind of free information isn't. You eventually got to pay for something, and you value it more too because you paid for it.
Yeah.
You're going to make it work. But more times than not, in my past, the New Year's was always playing catch up from all the craziness from Christmas season. Always was. For me, the main thing to focus on is I can't go back and change the beginning, but I can start where I am and change the ending, right? So start today. We move on to, creating this plan, write down my goals, reverse engineer them, review them each there, and try to get into a Facebook group and be involved. And I'll use me and Kyle, for example. His goal, fitness-wise, is going to be way far from mine. The fact that he showed up is important. I need to hear that. I need to see it because that motivates me to also step up and make sure I'm doing it. But he works out at night. I work out in the morning. So I'm always going to, if I show up before him, if I do show up, I'm always going to be ahead of him on that aspect because you don't work out in the morning, which is fine. But
I'm going to be out the door, like in the dark. So I get my best pump in after hours. And we and them worked out before. Mm-hmm. Our workouts has been different. We've done them. And we get in there and know what we're going to do. And we push each other. Tell them, don't be no damn sis, man. What the hell? Get your big girl panties on. Let's go. And then we just do it. We get so pissed off in there that we just do it. Like
it was a long time ago. I would do things way differently now. Like I have this amount of sets, this amount of reps. After this, I'm done. Because I'm old and I can't afford to be hurt.
I get in there and just pump. Because he's in it to lose it and I'm in there to gain.
Yeah.
So our stuff's a little bit different, but we still achieve the same thing at the end that we're wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, my experiences with them is just, I've always every year just try to set low goals so I know I can achieve them. As busy as we get, like in the springtime and then summertime, with everything that we have going on, I set low goals, then I achieve them, and when I get to that point, I'll get something a little bit harder or a higher to obtain goal, and once I reach it, then I feel like I've done something now. I've accomplished my resolution. Now see if I can maintain this goal. Because like failing, I don't like with everybody else. We don't like failing at a task, so that's why I just take small steps. And then I try to gain knowledge in what I want to accomplish. So I'm trying to learn while I'm going to achieve whatever it is. So far, I'd say probably the past 5 or 6 New Year's, they've been pretty good for me. I've been dedicated in what I was wanting to do. And my list usually is not that big. So I try to make them each year so I can become a better version of myself. So far it's been working out. And once I reach that point, then I might just say, hell with it. I done reached everything I want to reach. Mom made a legend when I was born. She made a legend, so.
Is your New Year's resolution to be modest there, Kyle? Because you're freaking rocking it out, man.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, yeah, that's all I got.
I think we wrapped it up pretty good. I think we touched on all the good topics. I hope you guys got something out of that. And Shannon, where can people find us on the interwebs?
All right. So obviously we're on YouTube. Hey, everybody. You can also find us on Facebook at Within Earshot. Add us as a friend. We've got lots of friends on there. You can find us on Instagram at Within Earshot Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter /X at Within Earshot 1. We're on TikTok at the.within.earsho. No T. You can also find us on the Buzzsprout website as always. Within Earshot Podcast.buzzsprout.com.
It's in the game. Yes. Yes.